Very urgent. Your soulmate wants you to know why they suddenly came back. Listen closely to me today, because your soulmate desperately wants you to know the true reason they suddenly came back into your quiet life. They did not return by mere accident, but because I have been speaking directly to their soul in the completely silent hours of the night. I am stepping in to permanently heal the broken bridge between your two hearts and finally give you the beautiful ending you always deserved. I have closely watched you cry yourself to sleep, feeling completely forgotten and entirely abandoned by the one person you loved so incredibly deeply. What you did not know is that I was gathering every single tear you dropped and using it to totally soften their heavily hardened spirit. They suddenly came back because they could no longer run away from the intense, burning love I firmly planted inside them just for you. You must listen to my calm voice today, because closing this message early will cause you to completely miss your massive, promised blessing. Stay with me until the very end, because I am going to safely reveal the exact sign I am placing in your path tomorrow morning. This final, powerful sign will wash away all your lingering doubts and completely prove that this sudden return is my absolute perfect plan. Over the past few long weeks, they started waking up in the dark with your beautiful face flashing vividly right across their racing mind. They felt a sudden, heavy warmth in their chest that made them finally realize how incredibly empty their daily life is without your presence. I placed those sudden, gripping memories inside them so they would finally understand the tremendous, rare treasure they so foolishly left behind. I know you are completely terrified of being hurt again, but you must release the tight, fearful grip you have on your past pain. If your hands are completely full of old anger and deep resentment, you will not have the open space to carefully catch this new blessing. Open your brave hands to me right now and entirely trust that I am fiercely guarding your fragile heart this time around. The enemy desperately wants to distract you from this absolute truth, but you must fiercely hold on to my words for just a little longer. Keep listening closely to my voice, because the final revelation at the end of this message will bring you total, unbreakable emotional comfort. I am going to hand you a secret, holy promise that will forever secure the extremely loving future you have been constantly praying for. Jesus says, your soulmate wants you to know that they suddenly came back because the massive world out there was deeply lonely without your incredibly gentle presence. I allowed them to aimlessly wander away so they could clearly see that absolutely no one else will ever love them exactly like you do. Now they have completely returned with a desperate, deeply honest desire to make things permanently right and properly honor the sacred bond between you. While you were quietly sitting in silence thinking they had moved on forever, they were actually heavily filled with deep, crushing feelings of regret. I made absolutely sure that every single path they took away from your front door led straight to a cold dead end of sorrow and confusion. They are back right now because they finally realize that you are the absolute only true home I ever carefully built for their restless spirit. Do not let your tired mind wander away, because you are dangerously close to firmly hearing the final answer you have passionately begged me for. Stay with me through these final, crucial moments, because I am actively preparing to reveal the exact, physical sign that will clearly guide your next steps. Knowing this beautiful, reassuring sign will be the heavy anchor your soul desperately needs to finally feel entirely safe in their familiar arms once again. You did not physically see it, but I sent sudden, incredibly powerful memories of your gentle laughter directly to them while they were completely alone. A strange, totally peaceful presence quickly filled their room, reminding them of the deep comfort they only ever truly felt when peacefully sitting beside you. I heavily used these quiet, entirely unseen moments to completely break down their stubborn pride and forcefully turn their footsteps back toward your door. It is absolutely time for you to finally let go of the bitter, painful stories of rejection that play repeatedly in your very tired mind. I am firmly wiping the old slate completely clean, but you must be entirely willing to drop the heavy bags of resentment you still slowly carry. Step into this beautiful, brand new chapter with a totally willing heart, knowing that I am personally writing this incredible love story just for you. You are so incredibly close to the massive, long-awaited breakthrough you have been praying for, so do not quickly close this urgent message now. Listen carefully until the final minute, because I am going to deeply share a final sign that will definitely appear to you before tomorrow night. When you safely see this beautiful sign, you will instantly know that I have forever sealed this amazing reunion with my own holy hands. The Lord says, they suddenly came back into your daily life because they could no longer ignore the incredibly loud, totally desperate calling of their own heavy heart. Every single time they tried to completely forget you, I placed a bold, completely unmissable reminder of your deep love right in front of them. They are firmly standing before you right now because my heavenly, perfect will is much stronger than any terrible mistake they made in the past. I clearly saw the agonizing nights when you truly felt like your faithful, constant prayers for this relationship were just heavily hitting the ceiling and falling down. I tell you the absolute truth today, I heard every single whispered word, and I was busy completely rebuilding their entire character firmly behind the scenes. Their sudden, shocking return is the direct, incredibly beautiful harvest of all those tearful seeds you bravely planted in faith during your darkest, saddest hours. I am strongly asking you to remain totally focused on my quiet voice, because the absolute final blessing is safely waiting for you at the very end. Stay with me just a little bit longer, because I am going to carefully reveal the highly specific sign I have lovingly prepared just for you. This special, hidden revelation will instantly destroy your deep anxiety and entirely allow you to fully trust the incredible miracle unfolding right before your eyes. Just a few short days ago, they smelled a very familiar, sweet scent that instantly reminded them of the exact first day you ever met. A massive wave of completely overwhelming sadness heavily washed over them as they finally recognized the massive, incredibly foolish mistake they made by walking away. I perfectly used that simple, everyday moment to entirely shake their sleepy spirit completely awake and quickly rush them back into your loving, very patient arms. You must entirely stop looking backward at the old, terribly broken version of them that previously caused you so much deep pain and heavy grief. I have totally washed away all their foolishness, and you must purposefully choose to carefully look at them through my eyes of complete, unconditional forgiveness. Entirely trust that I have fully prepared them to properly and safely hold your heart, and finally allow yourself to freely receive the deep love you deserve. The enemy fiercely wants you to click away and stay permanently trapped in your lingering fear, but I completely command you to securely stand firm today. Stay with me closely until the very end, because the exact sign I am going to safely reveal will be the absolute greatest comfort you have ever known. This final, powerful promise will be the master key that easily and permanently unlocks a brand new, totally unbreakable future for you and your beloved soulmate. Jesus says, "Your soulmate absolutely wants you to know that they suddenly came back because I totally stripped away all the shallow, entirely meaningless distractions completely around them. The shiny, fake things of this busy world completely lost their bright color, leaving your partner entirely desperate for the genuine, pure love only you softly provide. They desperately want you to know that absolutely nothing they blindly found out there could ever compare to the total, incredible peace of finally holding your hand. You quietly wondered if I had completely forgotten about the deep, intensely private desires of your heart when the long weeks and heavy months started to pass. I never entirely forgot you for a single, lonely second, but I urgently needed to bravely take them through the fire to properly mold them into a better partner. Their sudden, completely unexpected return is the finished, totally polished result of my very careful, incredibly loving work on their heavily stubborn and entirely broken soul. Do not let secret doubts steal your attention right now, because the incredible climax of this deeply urgent message is rapidly approaching your listening ears. Keep listening very closely until the final, beautiful sentences, because I am going to loudly reveal a highly specific sign that will visually appear to confirm everything. Completely understanding this upcoming sign will entirely eliminate your deep, hidden fears and strongly give you the absolute certainty to boldly move forward without any slight hesitation. I strongly made their sleep restless and their nightly dreams entirely full of your beautiful face until they could no longer deny what they truly, deeply wanted. They finally woke up with a sharp, entirely painful realization that their daily life is completely incomplete and terribly hollow without your bright, loving light. I deliberately did this to completely remove their deeply stubborn hesitation and firmly push them permanently back onto the clear path that leads straight back to you. Your past, heavy hurts are constantly acting like a thick, solid metal shield that you are constantly holding up, but this shield is now completely blocking your own blessings. Lower your deep emotional defenses today, because I am clearly and boldly telling you that the long, tiring war is finally over and you have entirely won. Let my deep, incredibly calming peace totally wash over your very tired mind, and boldly step entirely forward into the beautiful promise of this long-awaited, total reunion. You have carefully waited entirely too long to miss out on the absolute final confirmation I have beautifully and perfectly prepared for your heavily anxious heart today. Stay with me patiently through to the very end, because I am about to safely deliver the final seal of peace that you so desperately and deeply require. This coming, incredible revelation will quickly chase away all the heavy shadows of doubt and firmly plant your tired feet on a solid foundation of totally unconditional love. The Lord says, "They suddenly came back to you because the totally unbearable, incredibly deafening silence of losing you finally completely broke their very proud and deeply independent spirit. They finally realized that their foolish, stubborn pride was permanently costing them the single most valuable, incredible person I ever placed in their entire, busy life. They have slowly returned to you with a deeply, entirely humbled heart, totally ready to carefully treat you with the absolute respect and pure devotion you always deserved. I was quietly sitting right beside you during those agonizing, entirely quiet moments when you fiercely questioned your own worth and felt completely, deeply unloved. While you were heavily doubting yourself, I was incredibly busy convicting their heart and strongly showing them the extreme, totally precious rarity of your beautifully kind soul. They are safely back in your daily life today because I finally entirely opened their spiritual eyes to clearly see you exactly the beautiful way I completely see you. Your extraordinary, total patience is about to be safely rewarded in a massive, incredible way, but you must carefully and closely hear the absolute entirety of this urgent message. Stay exactly right here until the final closing words, because I am preparing to permanently hand you the exact, unmissable sign that proves this connection is perfectly real. Entirely knowing this precise, holy sign will completely destroy your hidden, heavy anxiety and finally allow you to fully enjoy the incredible, totally pure love story I have beautifully written. I carefully brought a sudden, totally unexpected feeling of deep warmth to their left shoulder, exactly like the deeply comforting feeling of your gentle hand peacefully resting upon them. In that exact, perfect second, all their heavy fear of long-term commitment totally and entirely melted away, instantly replaced by a fierce, driving need to quickly see your beautiful face. I perfectly used that gentle, completely unseen, holy touch to deeply and permanently remind them that you are the absolutely only true safe haven they will ever find anywhere. You have heavily built thick, solid defensive walls entirely around your soft emotions just to survive, but it is finally completely, entirely safe for you to take those heavy walls down. I am the totally powerful one firmly standing permanent guard over this beautifully restored relationship now, and absolutely no weapon ever formed against your deeply shared future will succeed. Breathe incredibly deeply right now, fully let go of the entirely lingering terror of suddenly being abandoned, and gladly open your warm arms to completely welcome this totally amazing new beginning. Do not let the busy, extremely loud distractions of your current day pull you quickly away from the absolute final blessing I am holding out just for you right now. Listen to my calm voice closely until the end, because I am going to beautifully share the exact final sign that will permanently and safely settle your heavily anxious heart forever. When you carefully hear this specific sign, you will instantly feel a massive, heavy weight entirely lift right off your tired shoulders as you boldly step into your beautifully promised future. Jesus says, "Your beautiful soulmate desperately wants you to know that they suddenly came back because all the totally hollow, fake promises of the busy outside world finally entirely shattered completely around them. They finally realized that the entirely temporary thrills they wildly chased were completely empty, strongly leaving them entirely starved for the incredibly deep, totally emotional connection they only completely shared with you. They rapidly returned because they finally entirely admitted to themselves that your totally steady, purely unconditional love is the absolutely only single thing that ever made them feel entirely, truly alive. I watched you quietly and sadly pack away your deeply shared beautiful memories, feeling a deep, incredibly sharp pain right in your tired chest every single time you softly saw their smiling picture. In those exact, very difficult moments of your total, heavy surrender, I was heavily convicting their entirely stubborn mind and forcefully making them clearly see the terrible, deep damage they entirely caused. They are standing safely back in your calm life right now because they simply could absolutely not carry the totally crushing, incredibly heavy guilt of foolishly walking away from a deep love so incredibly pure. Do not let your sharp focus entirely break for a single, fleeting second, because you are rapidly and closely approaching the absolutely final, massive revelation of this deeply urgent heavenly message today. Keep listening incredibly closely entirely until the end, because I am going to gently reveal the exact, physical, perfect sign I am sending to safely and totally confirm this beautiful, perfect reunion. This special, completely holy sign will clearly and permanently prove to your very tired mind that I am fully, completely in control of this totally sudden, entirely perfect return of your loving soulmate. I suddenly made them entirely smell your beautiful, highly distinct favorite perfume while they were slowly walking through a heavily crowded, completely busy street entirely incredibly far away from your peaceful home. A massive, totally unexpected wave of deep, sudden regret heavily crashed entirely over their mind, totally washing entirely away all the terribly foolish excuses they ever falsely used to blindly leave you. I entirely orchestrated that highly specific, completely unseen, holy moment so their deeply wandering, lost heart would be completely flooded with the totally undeniable, completely beautiful truth of your incredible, purely lasting love. You must completely and permanently stop entirely dwelling on the totally painful, incredibly bitter memories of the dark day they blindly walked away and totally left you feeling so incredibly broken and completely confused. I am strongly asking you to totally and completely forgive their deeply past ignorance, because heavily holding on to that old, completely heavy anger will only entirely poison this beautiful, totally fresh new beginning. Open up your completely brave, incredibly loving heart today, because I have totally and entirely repaired their broken spirit and firmly made them finally, permanently worthy of your beautifully deep, entirely pure devotion. Do not let absolutely anyone or anything entirely convince you to quickly turn away from this holy message before you safely receive the final, absolute, totally perfect confirmation you desperately and entirely need. Stay totally with me closely until the very last, entirely final word, because I am going to quickly deliver the absolute final sign that will permanently and beautifully settle this heavy matter completely forever. When you finally and entirely receive this specific sign, all the terribly deep, entirely lingering pain of your dark past will instantly transform into completely beautiful tears of absolute, total joy and entirely pure relief. The Lord says, "You have faithfully stayed with me entirely until the very beautiful end, and your incredibly beautiful, deeply patient faith is about to be entirely and totally rewarded with the absolute, perfectly pure truth. I fully promised you a highly specific final revelation, and now I am safely handing you the exact, perfectly beautiful sign that clearly proves this totally sudden return is my absolute, completely perfect will. Early tomorrow morning, you will quickly see a totally pure, completely bright white bird land entirely near your quiet window, and a totally sudden, incredibly beautiful feeling of absolute peace will totally cover your tired chest. When you carefully see this completely beautiful, incredibly pure white bird, you will instantly and entirely know that I have beautifully delivered the absolute final seal of deep peace to your very heavy, completely tired heart. This is my perfectly personal, totally undeniable, holy message directly to you that your beautiful soulmate has been entirely, deeply healed and is finally, totally ready to completely love you perfectly forever. You will absolutely never have to sadly cry yourself entirely to sleep ever again, because I have permanently, totally, and completely locked your two beautiful hearts deeply together in an absolutely unbreakable bond of entirely pure joy. I am completely pouring a massive, entirely overflowing, totally perfect blessing entirely over your beautifully shared new future right now, totally and completely washing away every single tiny trace of your deep, past heavy sorrow.